Okay, welcome to this video where I am going to get you good with SolidWorks, as in good skills. I'm going to teach you some things we kind of glossed over or might not have seen in previous projects. So we're going to make just a single part for this video. We're going to make a house, like a little model house. The idea behind this is not to make a house. The idea is to teach you lots of 2D and 3D techniques and relationships that you might not know about that are going to make your life easier, and then also show you how to go back into your history and change sketches you've already made to make alterations to a part. All right, that's how you work in SolidWorks. You draw your part, and then quite often you have to go back and change sizes of things and heights and whatever until it actually fits where you want it to. So start by making a new part. Okay, and then it should automatically create a sketch for you. If not, you can always right-click on one of these work planes, front, top, or right, and choose a sketch. If you do have a sketch, just make sure you're looking straight at it. So you right-click on the sketch and choose normal to. That will spin your view so you're looking at it. Okay, there we go, normal to. Right. Anyway, we want to sketch in 2D first, so we need the sketching tab. If, by the way, these menus are hidden, and you have to do this to get them to appear, you can click the little pin over there to pin them up, which is quite useful. All right, so sketching anyway. We're going to draw. We're going to start by drawing a house with lines. Okay, I'm going to show you two methods you could use, but we're going to draw it with lines. Although you could skip ahead to making a house, that's not what I want. What I want you to learn is the skills I use to get there, because you can apply them to other drawings. So please do everything I do in this video yourself so it sticks in your brain. Right, start by drawing. Don't worry about getting it in the middle. A deliberately wonky line, another wonky line, another wonky line. So a sort of rough parallelogram shape, okay? I'm deliberately doing it on the wonk because I want you to use some sketch tools to make this tidy up this drawing. This is going to become our floor. This is like looking at a house from the side, by the way, you know, like a square with a triangle roof. This will be our triangle roof. These will be the two walls, and this will be the floor. Now, the floor should be horizontal and parallel to the floor. So if you click that, you'll see you get this menu of lots of features that you've probably not given any time of day to before. If you click Make Horizontal, can you see what it's done? It's put this little green sign, and it has made it horizontal. If you click one of these uprights, that will be our wall, and choose the one next to it, Make Vertical, look what it does. Now, I know you could make that one vertical as well, but I want you to use a different method. We're going to make this one perpendicular to that one, because if they were at a right angle, it would achieve the same thing. So click the vertical one, hold Control on your keyboard, and click the bottom one. You've got this option now, Make Perpendicular. Look at the symbols. The symbols describe what it does. So click it. Notice it's put a little perpendicular symbol. Now, these little green reminders, they're called constraints. They're very useful. If you hover on them, you see it makes the line in question that applies to go pink. In this case, it makes two of them go pink because it applies to two lines, okay? Those will now, look, forever keep those two corner lines perpendicular to each other. Okay, the walls on a house generally are the same height either side of the roof, so there's a way of doing that quickly as well. If you click one of them, hold Control on your keyboard and click the other, and now move along to this one called Make Equal and choose it. All right, you see a little equal symbol has appeared. Now watch what happens if I drag the top and bottom lines. They stay the same height. Ignore what's happening with the roof. Okay, look at what I've done there. I've made them equal to each other. And that's really, really powerful. Even if we put a dimension on it, these things will stay the same. Okay, I now want my roof in the middle of my house. I'm going to show you two methods for doing this. In this case, there's a really quick way of doing it, right? For this particular shape. If you click one of these lengths, hold Control and click the other, and make them equal. And by the way, don't confuse parallel with equal. All right, that's why it's on the slant. Anyway, make it equal. Now the roof will always be in the middle, look, no matter what I drag out, because for these two lines to maintain the same length, they have to maintain the same angle. That's just geometry. So that's one way of doing it. I want you also to know how to undo these constraints, because that's a useful skill as well. So if I want to get rid of that equal, I just click the little constraint, and you can either right click and press delete, or you can press delete on your keyboard. Anyway, select them, press delete. You'll notice now that relationship is gone, and I can move them as I wish. Okay, same applies here. If I get rid of the equals on that wall, you'll see now I can change the walls independently again. Okay, sometimes look, you can actually, there is like an auto generate constraints thing. So I'm going to bring this wall up so that dotted line makes it the same height as the other. Okay, it doesn't always fix it, but sometimes it will automatically put them on. Anyway, and if it does, you'll get little green symbols to show you that. And if you don't like it, you delete the green symbols. All of these things are here for a reason, and this is what I'm talking about with SolidWorks. You've got to know what they mean, otherwise it just seems confusing and overly complicated, but they're actually there to help you. All right, make the two walls equal again. Click, hold Control, click, and click equal. I'm going to show you another method of getting the roof in the middle. Deliberately drag it off to one side. Go up here to the line tool, but don't choose the line, click the drop down. You'll see quite often there are other tools hidden. I'm going to get center line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move along the bottom here, and you'll see when I get near the middle of this line, it goes orange. If I click my center line from there, now I could draw it vertically. Can you see that little yellow thing to the right of the pencil? It's saying, look, if you snap it there, I'll put a vertical constraint for you, like that, look. See, it's done it for us. If you didn't do it or made an accident and got it slightly wonky like that, how could you make it vertical? We'll just right click on it and choose make vertical. These things are here to help you. Right, if I was to put that line exactly on this, it would be dead in the center. Now you can do that one or two ways. You can click and drag it on. Notice it's snapped to it and it's put a constraint on it called a coincident constraint. That is now forever bonded to the middle line. And if I don't like it, how do I undo it? I click the constraint and I delete it. Okay. Or you can drag it the hard way. You can click the dot, you can hold Control and click the line, and then choose Make Coincident. Okay, and you'll see what that's done. All right, so however you do it, make yourself a house with an equal roof and an equal wall. I want you to give it some dimensions now as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to right click, and I'm holding down my right mouse button and I'm going to drag up like that, look, to choose the dimension tool. You can go over here and pick it manually, but that's more movement of your mouse. Why do that when you can move a shorter distance? I'm lazy. So a little quick tip there. And I want to set this roof at a 35-degree pitch. So I'm going to pick that line with the dimension tool and this line. And I could do an inside line, okay, or I could do a line here, all right? It doesn't really matter. I'm going to do, actually, no, let's do that. So I don't want 35 degrees. Well, it would be 180 less 35, which would be 145. Yep. So if I go 145 and hit enter, you see what that's done? It's given us quite a pitched roof. In fact, you know what? I don't like that. Let's make it a bit shallower, 155. That was the wrong way, you muppet. 135. That's better. Okay. Now notice, because this line is fixed to there, all right, it achieves what we want it to do. Okay, it all stays linked and parallel. And notice, because I've got more and more things locked down now, there are only certain things of the drawing I can click and drag, right? I can't change the angle, I can't change the length of these roof panels, okay, unless I make it bigger. Now they grow in proportion. So depending how you constrain your drawing makes it very future-proofed, all right? I just want to show you what I mean now by making it 3D, okay? So at the moment, I can have a narrow house with a tall roof or a wide house with shallow walls. Put it however you like and make it 3D. And you do that by just going to Feature and Extruded Boss Base, okay? Now I want your house, because it's just a scale model, let's say 150. That looks about right, 150 mil. Don't worry if yours doesn't look in proportion, because we're going to change that in a minute. It just means you've drawn your sizes wrong, but just type 150 for me. Click the tick. Okay, there's our 3D house. Great. What if I wanted to change the proportions of it? Oh no, panic. This is what most of you do now. You don't need to panic. You go back to this extrusion and you click the little arrow. and there is the sketch you drew. And if you right click on it and choose this option, don't confuse it with that one, choose this one, edit sketch, you'll see it takes you back to your sketch, and say you wanted your house to be a little wider with a taller roof, drag it out, hit return up here, and now your 3D model is updated to the updates you made on the sketch. Everything is relational in SolidWorks, and therefore you don't keep adding new stuff to fix problems. You go and find the thing that you drew in the first place and alter that. That really is the key. It's amazing how many of you don't seem to click that, and I'm not surprised. It's a tricky thing to learn. Right, anyway, we're going to go and put some definite sizes on this because you've made it 150 extruded. I want the walls a particular height. So go back and edit your sketch. Remember, open it, right click, edit sketch. And I want you to put a dimension on one of the walls. You only need to do it on one because they're linked. And I want you to make the wall 100 tall. Hit enter. Perfect. I want you to make the base a particular size. Let's make it a nice round number. That's what you should do when you're building models, because you'll remember round numbers when you need to build other things later down the line. If you use 140.327, you're not going to remember that. 150, you will. Anyway, 150. Hit enter. Perfect. I'm done with my dimension tool, so I'm just going to press escape to get rid of it. Now you can see all I can do with this drawing now is move it around the page, right? I can't actually change the size of anything. And the reason I can't change the size is the walls are equal and fixed by that dimension. The floor is fixed by that. The roof is fixed at this angle, and because it's linked to a center line, this side has to follow suit. This is what's called a constrained drawing. But it's a future-proof drawing, because if I wanted to make my house wider, I could come and change this to 200, for instance. There we go. And if I want to change it back again, I can. So however you do it, make your house 100 by 150, and then press return, the arrow up here, to go back to 3D mode. Okay, great. We have made the outline of our house. Right, we're going to now add some features into it. We're going to add some doors and windows, and we're going to do that to teach you about some further sketching skills. Okay. Now, actually what I'm going to do for my first effort is put a roof on my house that overlaps. Now, I'm going to do that with sketching. So I'm going to click on this roof panel, and you'll see we've got options here. You can either right click to bring this menu up, or sometimes if you click it just appears. Either way, choose this one, sketch. Make sure it's not that one, this one, sketch. You'll see we're looking down on that roof panel now. Now roofs generally overlap, so what I'd like you to do is draw a rectangle, just sort of roughly like this, and I want the top of your rectangle to be exactly on the peak of that house, okay? And we're going to do that with another constraint. So I'm going to click it, hold control, do that again. So I'm going to click the top of my rectangle, hold down control, click the top of my house, and this one called collinear puts them on the same line. Okay, in a house, if you look at it, the roof overlaps slightly. It's called the eaves. It does this to stop the water draining down onto the walls, keeps your walls from getting damp. I want them to overhang the roof by exactly the same amount. So I'm going to use the dimension tool. I'm going to click from here to here, and I'm going to set that to, let's say, 5. Hit enter. Okay, I'm going to show you another trick now. All right, I'm going to get the dimension tool again. I'm going to click from here to here, drag up, but rather than type 5, I'm going to press equals on my keyboard, and then I'm going to go and click on this dimension. Can you see it now says equals dimension 1 of sketch 2? Click the tick. You'll see this has got a little symbol. That means it's like a formula. This one is based on whatever number I type here. Okay, go and do the same again between here and here. So dimension, click, 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 equals, and click on that, and click the tick. Now, the reason I've done that, let me just press escape to come out of the dimension tool, is if I wanted to make the overhang of my roof bigger, I only have to go and change one number now. So if I change this to 7, which I want you to do as well, hit the tick. Notice that and that also update. Really, really useful. Okay, press and hold your middle mouse button to rotate your view, and we're going to make our roof go up just 2 millimeters. So we're going to extrude it. Features, extrude. And obviously we don't want that much, so I'm going to change it to 2. Click my mouse button. And the reason I always rotate my view before confirming is I like to check it's going the right way. Sometimes, depending where you drew from, it might be trying to extrude it into the house. I want to go above it. And you'll notice by clicking this direction arrow, I can change which way it sends it. It's amazing how many of you didn't know that. If I wanted to, I could get really clever. There are other options here. Can you see I can do mid-plane rather than blind? What that's done, if we zoom in, is put it mid-plane. Right? It's doing 2 millimeters, but split 1 millimeter below and 1 millimeters above. So if I did 4, there's 2 below and 2 above. We don't want mid-plane. I just wanted to show you it as an option. I would like you to just change it to blind and make sure it is going away from the house, okay? Always make sure merge result is ticked. Very important, that's ticked. Otherwise, this new solid doesn't become part of the solid below it. And then when you come to 3D print it, there'll actually be a gap between them. Anyway, when you're happy with it, click the tick. Perfect. Right, we're only going to draw one side of the roof now because we're actually going to mirror. We're going to make the door and the windows on one side, and then to save time, we're going to mirror it all on the other. Nice and quick. Right, I just want you to take 2 seconds now and look back at the browser on the left, okay? Get used to this thing. You should be looking at this almost as often as you're looking at the 3D model. You'll see we now have 2 extrusions. We've got Boss Extrude 1, and if we expand it, was made from that sketch there. And you got Boss Extrude 2, which was the roof, and if we expand it, it was made from that sketch there. I want you to go and change the roof. I want you to change that overhang to 8. So how would I do that? Well, there's the extrusion, there's the sketch, right click, edit sketch. Which one of these would you change? The original, let's make it 8, hit enter. That's all enlarged, great. Click return, we're back to the part, and now the roof is 8 by 8, okay? Anyway, let's put a door on it. So we're going to put the door on this side. We're going to make it a shotgun house with a front door and a back door exactly in line. Right click on here, choose sketch, and we're going to draw our door. And I'd like you to just get the rectangle tool and just roughly anywhere draw a door. Doesn't matter. Deliberately don't draw it on the edge. Get your dimension tool. I'm going to right hold and drag up because that's my favorite shortcut. And I want you to make the door 50 by 25. Right. I want this door to be both on here and in the middle. And I'm going to show you several ways. Well, I'm going to show you the way I would use to do that. To put it exactly at ground level, I'm going to click the bottom of my square, hold Control, and click the bottom of that rectangle and choose this one, Make Collinear, a bit like we did with the roof. That has brought them down. You can see now if I drag my door, it's always collinear with that line. If I want to get it in the middle, I'm going to use collinear again, but I'm going to use 2 center lines to do it. So I'm going to go here, center line. I'm going to hover over the bottom until I find my center line point, drag up, press escape because I'm done with the tool, go and get it again, and draw a center line on the door. So find the middle of the door, come down, find the middle of that, come down. Now, if I make my 2 center lines collinear, it will be bang in the center. So if I click the center line, hold Control, click that, and choose Make Collinear, see what we got? Bang in the center. Okay, right, I'd like you to extrude that now. So feature extruded cut. This time we're doing a cut, by the way. We want our door to be sunk in. And I want you to cut it in 5 millimeters. Okay, looks good. Hit enter when you're happy. Make sure it's going the right way. Right, we've now got 1, 2 extrudes and a cut extrude. And if we wanted to change the door, we'd come back and we'd edit that sketch. I want you to make the door a little bit shorter. And I'm going to be mean. I'm doing this to teach you, okay? It's not about the house, it's about the method. What do I keep saying? It's the journey, not the destination. So go and have fun on your journey. Go and edit sketch 3. There you are. And let's make the door shorter. Let's make it 40. So I'm clicking on the dimension, update the dimension. Look, it all stays locked to the bottom because we did that earlier. We took care of our future. Click return. and now you'll see the 3D model has updated. Right, we're going to put some windows in now, but we're going to use mirroring tool to do that. So I want you to make a brand new sketch on here. Right click and sketch. And I'd like you to get the rectangle tool and just draw yourself a rough window shape. Okay, fine. Go and get yourself a center line and draw it from the middle up to the middle of there. Okay, make sure it's vertical, remember the constraint. And I would like you to make the vertical sides of your window the same height. So click one, hold control and click the other and choose equal. And I'd like you to put one dimension on it. Sorry, I'm going a bit faster now. Make your windows 25 tall. In fact, let's make them 20. And I want your window to be 35 wide. Okay. Right. I also want the window. Well, no, let's not worry about that for a second. Right. I want an exact window on the right-hand side of this line. Now you could spend ages doing that, and then you'd have to try and line them up, and it would be a right faff. Or you could use the tool that's here to help you. Look at these tools, because quite often you'll go, that looks like it might help me with my job. Guess what? Mirror entities does. So pick mirror entities, and now it's all about what's on the left again. It's saying, look, dude, tell me what entities do you want me to mirror? Okay, well, the entity is this rectangle, so just select it or drag a box around it. Great, it's picked all four of those lines. Mirror about. Where do you want me to reflect it in? Where would you put the mirror on the page? Well, it'd be where I built that line. All right, newsflash, that's why I made that dotted line. So mirror about, select that as your mirror about line, and you'll see we've got a preview of what we're going to get. That looks exactly like what we want, so we hit the tick. Right. Notice this little mirror constraint. This is showing that this is a mirror image of this. That means if we drag this up and down, or in and out, or change the size of it, so let's make it 15 for instance, notice our mirrored object changes. Future-proofing, people. This is what it's all about. Anyway, let's put your mirrors, a dimension from the side and the top. So I'm going to click the vertical bit of this and the vertical bit of the window with the dimension tool and set them at 20. And I'm going to do the same from here and the very underside of the roof. And let's make that 10. Okay, right, I'm happy with my position of my mirrored windows, so we're now going to extrude them. Feature, and we want to cut them, extruded cut. Notice how by default it's automatically picked the windows we wanted. I'm happy with 5mm, click the tick. Good, now I did say this would be a shotgun house, and this is the final bit of the problem. We're going to now put all of these features, the roof, the two windows and the door, on the other side without too much effort. Okay. In order to do this, we need something called a work plane. Now, I've deliberately designed this, and you may have got lucky, but what we need in order to mirror all of that is a plane, a work plane, so to reflect it in. So in sketching, you use the center line as your reflection line. In 3D, you need a work plane, like a flat surface to reflect about. Now this right plane is pretty close, but can you see it doesn't pass through the middle of the roof? It should be passing through that point there. So we've got to make ourselves a new work plane, and this is something you have to do sometimes. You do that under this option, reference geometry. Come down and you've got an option to make a plane. Now, it's asking for a reference. So if you click on the front of your house, it tries to draw your work plane, and it's trying by default to offset it 10mm away from the wall of the house. That's just its default. If you click flip offset, can you see it puts it 10mm into the house? Now, when we drew this, who can remember how long we made the floor? We made it a nice round number, didn't we? So we didn't forget. 150. If you had forgotten, you can go evaluate, measure, click on the bottom, and it'll tell you, look, 150. Okay. Anyway, I knew it was 150, so I'm going to set my offset in this box here. Rather than 10, what's half of 150? It is 75. Click the tick. Sorry, click to just place it. Now we can see that work plane is definitely bang in the middle of our house. I know it is because we've used dimensions to do so. Anyway, click the tick. Right, we've now got this kind of floating surface in the middle of our house, and we can hide it later if it's ruining your drawing, but we're going to use that to mirror everything we've already made and make our lives easier. So um, now, because we're in part mode, we're going to go to features, and we're going to use a 3D mirror this time. The last mirror you did was a 2D mirror because you were in sketch mode. We're in 3D mode now under features, so mirror is found under this drop-down menu here, mirror. Right, mirror, face, or plane. What would be our mirror plane? Well, we know it's that work plane we just made, so we choose it. And then it's a secondary one. Well, we don't need a secondary one, so we skip to features to mirror. It now wants you to pick the things you want to mirror. Now, it's a bit hit or miss if you select them on the object, so I wouldn't. Instead, that's what this second menu up here is for. Expand it. And you've got to remember, what is it we wanted? We wanted Boss Extrude 2, which was the roof. We wanted Cut Extrude 1, which was the door. See what it's doing? And we wanted Cut Extrude 2, which was the windows. All right, so what that's going to do is mirror those three features. A feature is a 3D thing about the work plane that we put in the middle of it. Okay, click the tick when you're happy. Now, if it comes up with an error, just try clicking geometry pattern and try the tick now. There we go. And I don't know why that's not doing it. Let's try that again. Okay, yeah, sorry, I just realized a slight issue. I think the problem is because the roof's at an angle, it gets confused. So we're going to start by just mirroring. We're going to go back a bit and just mirror the door and the windows instead. So go and get mirror. Your mirror face or plane is this. Your features this time is just the doors and windows. So cut extrude 2, cut extrude 1. You can choose geometry pattern, full preview, click the tick. Here we go, spin the house around right. Now, I believe we can do the roof as well. I'm just going to double check my method before I record this video and you have to watch it. Okay, proof that even I'm learning. I figured out what went wrong. So the doors and windows mirror fine. The roof, it won't mirror because of it thinks the roof would become unattached to this bit below it. If we did so, that's what that error was about, zero thickness feature. The way to do it is we need to make our roof go down into the building and then mirror it. But that's fine. This is all good practice. Let's go back and figure that out. So the roof is the thing we've got a problem with. Let's find our roof over here. If you can't find it, by the way, click on it and then it highlights what it belongs to in the menu. And we want to change the 3D thing, not the sketch. The sketch is fine. We just want to change which way the 3D goes. So it's the 3D bit we're going to edit the feature of. And then how do we change direction? Well, it's just this arrow here. Click that, it's now pointing down, click the tick. Okay, the roof is now going into the building. Doesn't make much difference visually to you and I, but it's important for this mirroring tool for some reason. Right, now we can go and mirror just our roof. So go up to mirror. Same deal, mirror plane is the work plane. The feature we go is Boss Extrude 2. Okay. Happy with the preview. This time note, look, it's coming down. Click the tick. There we go. And actually that's better now because our roof has got a nice pointed apex, whereas before it would have had an open square. I think that's what it was in trying to imply, that it's impossible to mirror that shape. Okay, right, good. The work plane's annoying now. It's served its purpose. Let's get rid of it. Well, we don't want to get rid of it. We just want to make it invisible. That's really easy. Right click and tick the eye, hide. You'll notice it's now kind of gone transparent over here on the menu. If you wanted it back, you can right click over here and go show. And there it is, but let's hide it, okay? Fantastic. Last bit of the video, you're just going to decorate your house. Just because when you're making multiple parts, it's important to kind of make them different colors so you can show the different materials or the different features of them in your model, okay? So save your work if you haven't done already. Make sure you're saving it to your OneDrive, okay? Hopefully in a folder called DET. I'm going to call this house model. Right, and now we're going to change some colors. So let's change the whole color of the part to start with. We do that by going up here to edit appearance. And if I want to change the color of the whole house, you could choose a texture. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to textures and I'm going to go to stone, brick, okay, old English brick. Doesn't really matter. Okay. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to mess around with textures this lesson. That's a bridge too far. Let's just go back to appearances, color, single color, and just make it a sort of ready color for brick. That's fine. Okay, click the tick. Right, what you might want to do is make the windows a shade of blue. So click a window, hold Control and click the other window, and then come up to appearances and now change the color not of the whole thing, but of the face. Okay, that will change the color of just the faces you've selected. And come and choose yourself like a sky blue color for your windows. Okay, oops, we forgot those windows. Here's a little trick. Right click on a window you've done and go to copy appearance. Go over to the windows you haven't done and right click paste appearance. Oh, sorry, paste appearance, and it's saying to what? Look at what the options do. The face, the mirror, or the whole body? Just the face. Okay. Do the same on here. Paste appearance to the face. Let's make the door green. So I'm going to select both doors by holding Control. Right click, appearance, face of the door, like a nice sea green. And let's make the roof brown. Okay. So click the top of the roof, hold Control, click the top of that roof. I'm going to hold Control and click this end face. And I'm going to do the same on here. I'm just manipulating my view. And I'm going to right click, appearance of the faces, the bits I've selected, and then go and change it to sort of browny color. Okay, fine, all good. Right, that pretty much concludes that video. I know that was just making a house. Remember, it's not the house that's important, it's everything you did underneath it. And in fact, just to change what we've concluded here, I'm going to show you how I've made my drawing. Say I want my house to be wider. I should be able to do that easily with how I've built this because everything's linked together in a relational way. If I go to my very first extrusion and edit feature, and I made it, let's say 200. Okay, the house body's grown. Let's click the tick to confirm it. Look at that. The windows have stayed exactly central, the doors stayed in the middle, the roof has grown, it's got the same overlap as it had before. It's the same on the other side. This is because I've built this in a future-proofed way, all right? Right from using those relationships in the original sketches through to mirroring them, through to mirroring features in 3D, this is the key to success in SolidWorks. I hope you learned some things in that tutorial. Apply them to your parts, don't forget them. If you do forget them, come and do this video again.